What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJ Sear channel dedicated to Juventus. It's a beautiful morning, a special morning after a special victory, one we needed. And we got the band back together, all right? So let's hit this. Omer, and hey, everybody's been asking about him. We got Mr. Nonies himself, Skanga, back. Fellas, how you doing today? The air's just super fresh today. Everything's great this morning. A victory show, one we needed. Oh, and against City, reminding them who we are. Undefeated, again, still undefeated versus City. Fellas, let me know how you're feeling today.
Well, Tony, you've been away for a while. How are you doing?
I haven't been excited for a show like this one in a long time. I know I've been stayed away for a couple of weeks there. Appreciate the support of the team. And what better way to come back than spanking some bangers of mash 2-0 on home soil. The stadium looked great yesterday. You guys look great. I always look good. And I cannot wait for the show today.
Let's fucking do this. Let's fucking do this. Victory pod. It's been too long. Ciao ragazzi, finally a victory show. Oh yeah, and we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna have some fun. The Chihuahuas are gonna get checked. No doubt. Okay, but first we gotta have a moment of silence, everybody. And I know that's kind of weird. Victory show, what the hell are we having a moment of silence for, Alberto? Well, you guys are asking, we had a situation. I said if the FC25 simulation was gonna be correct, I would give my left nut for that 2-0 result. So Justin, member of the AJC army there, was kind enough to make this photo all right and kickstart things. But the fun continues, okay? So, the left nut's still secure, okay? Look at this headline. Old lady 2, old men 0. Time catches up with City. Omer, you especially like this one, hey?
Is that real?
I absolutely loved it. That's one of my favorite things. After matches, go and see some different headlines from around the world because there are tons of gems hidden in there. And yeah, that one got me, and I said, yeah, we should definitely put that out there.
Oh yeah,
that's real. That's not AI generated.
No, yeah. That's real. That's legit. Oh my god, fantastic stuff! Now, of course, we've got to go at it here. I mean, the receipts were kept. We like to keep it cool. There was a lot of Juventini that we know that they could still hurt us with the quality of the lineup, but a lot of us still. I said draw because I'm not going to call us to lose or anything, but Paolo came out here and said on the fan channels they were talking down City, but they said, "Oh, we're winning 4-1." After talking them down for so long, Paolo's like, "You're not scoring 4 goals." We also had a great moment with Paolo calling Bernardo Silva a bitch yesterday, which was hilarious. Okay, and he also showed that in the game. But let's check some of these receipts, shall we? Oh, well, number one, this was just hilarious. City fans trying to leave the stadium have been told that they cannot. This is actually UEFA protocol for Champions League matches. This has nothing to do with like the result or adding, and they're trying to make it seem like it was Juve adding insult to injury. This is actually UEFA protocol. So Mark, the fact that you don't know that, you are worth one of those. Okay.
I think it's hilarious that basically this guy's admitting to, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch us beat the shit out of your team. Get back in your seat, dumbass.
You're going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy this.
Said, not us.
But at least you get to go home to that fine cuisine. Now, we got Priv. You're my boy, despite the fact you made a critical error in the teams you support with Inter there. But look at this. Good luck, Juve. Failed to beat Villa. You might as well get ready for a round of 32 doubleheader. City will waste you. If that's getting wasted, I hope we get wasted the rest of the year, baby. Okay? But Priv, come on, man. Come on.
Thanks for your support, Anthony. We appreciate you. Good
yes,
dude.
We do appreciate the support. Sanso here. This is a Napoli fan. Oh yeah, even changing the logo to Man City there. Oof. That's a bad look. That's worthy of one of these. There you go.
Pretty sure that's stolen valor when you do something like that.
Juve won't recover from the beating they will receive from City today. Huh. Hell of a beating. Hell of a beating. Look at this guy. City will beat Juventus. You can bank on it. Woo.
Well, don't ever say bank on it. Trust me. That never works out well.
You can bank on it. Mm-hmm. City will beat Juve like a thief. Okay, so home of chandeliers is clearly not the home of predictions. So stick to the chandeliers, buddy, all right? You can go swing from a couple of them. And then look at okay, so Mina here, obviously well-known personality. What kills me is this is apparently a Juve fan, okay? This is a tragic Juventus side against City on Wednesday. It will be the derby of crisis, and then City will win. Madonna, Mina. Like,
that's not nice.
Come on. All right. So she's not gonna get the day, but like step up the pride a bit here, okay? And let's get together here and back them a bit more than that. Jesus. Okay, now that the receipts are out of there, we gotta talk about this game. News headlines. The only one I'm gonna hit before we get into the aftermath is the fact that we have recovered. We have done something nobody has done throughout time, and that is recover someone from the Bermuda Triangle as Nico Gonzalez is back. Oh, okay, nice. Nico ready for Venezia. So
don't believe it.
And again, I wouldn't be surprised if it changes and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you know what, 2025 starting to look really good. But for now, he apparently will be available for Venezia. We have more news headlines. We have a very interesting post from the always interesting Paolo Nomolo that came out yesterday that we will tackle certain points from there that actually play nicely into the match we just watched. So without, beating around the bush, let's get to the game. The starting lineup, the only real question mark was what they were going to do with Cambiaso. I said, you don't risk it whatsoever. Just don't risk it at all. He ended up not being on the squad list. Danilo got in there. We had a lot of concerns with Danilo across the fan base. Oh my God. What the hell was that from this guy? Where did that come from? I'll take it. I hope it stays. That was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I don't think it came out of nowhere. I don't think it came out of nowhere because I think it was good in the two previous games until he moved to center back.
Not to the level of that.
Of course, not to that level because he needed to prove that Juve were the winners in that Cancelo-Danilo deal. And they absolutely did. I don't know what Cancelo is doing right now, but Danilo was phenomenal.
It was crazy.
True captain performance.
But again, we'll tackle it all. The highlights, there's not really a lot to talk about in the grand scheme of things with them seemingly having a lot of frustrations we've had in games with a ton of possession and not a whole lot to come out of it. But the starting lineup was Di Gregorio, Savona, Kalulu, Gatti, Danilo, Locatelli, Thuram, Conceição, Cope Miners, Yildiz, Vlahovic. Literally, we can rifle through this. The first half is a ton of possession from City. Not a whole lot to come from it until the 39th minute. Haaland sent through, and Di Gregorio, man, this was a massive, massive save. Making that save opens the door for the rest because really, the first half, we tried to counter, but it broke down at critical moments. We didn't get a whole lot of anything either in the first half, just decent sequences. And that was really like Yildiz. He had a moment where he just absolutely left Walker standing still there. That was a good ball from Locatelli. Outside of little moments here and there wasn't a whole lot there for Juve. A lot was breaking down involving Cope Miners. There was a lot of shouts for some changes at half. I said probably not right away, but maybe you start to think about, again, Yildiz central, because in the first half he had moments where he was finding the pockets of space and he was opening up things for us. What'd you think at half? Would you have tried something different, or were you thinking, no, let's continue this way and see what happens? Omer?
Excuse me, ask again. I was reading the comments and I missed the question.
At halftime, did you think about any changes? There were some struggles from Cope Miners. A lot were calling for him to come out at that point. A lot of transition breaking down at his feet.
I didn't feel that. Offensively, it wasn't as expected, but up until the 90th minute, to be honest, I saw a guy that was running for his life, chasing balls, pressing, and that was super important because that's the attitude we needed from the rest of the team. Didn't quite fall for him offensively, but I do think he had a very good performance. I wouldn't say the top performer, but I saw a guy that gave him 200%. That's what we're asking for, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Skanga, any changes at half you think you make? How'd you feel about Cope Miners?
That's not Motta's style, right? Hasn't been his style all year to make changes at halftime. I think the earliest he's made a change is like the 55th minute.
Yeah.
Other than outside of injuries, no, because nothing was hurting us going towards our goal. So I think he just wanted to keep the status quo there, keep everything. We just had to clean it up. Like we were getting in the right positions. I thought City was playing a high line defensively. I'm not sure why we weren't trying to expose that with our midfielders over the top.
Yeah.
I saw Coop make a couple of runs, didn't get the ball. Dusan was, fortunately, he was just always in an offside position. So that should open up for other people to make some runs there. Wasn't happening. So I was like, we're right there. We were right there. It just had to clean it up.
Just a little bit more execution. First up, massive thank you to Alex P. gifting 5 AJC memberships. For those new members, reach out to us. Let's plug you into the private chat, all right? And welcome aboard. Grazie, Alex. Your continued support, massive, brother. Much, much appreciated, all right? And for everybody that was on the watch-along yesterday, I got to apologize. I like to do the call-ins at halftime, even post-match. Halftime, we were just so into the game and everything and where we were at. But post-match, I had to get back to work. I literally just took an extended break because I was like, I can't watch this one at work. I got to get back here. So that's what went down. Don't worry about it. This weekend, we'll go back to the way we've been rocking it. Now, after half, we come out. 53rd minute. This is bittersweet. Bittersweet. And everybody's like, what the hell? Why is it bittersweet? That's the goal. That's the goal. That's when the goal came. Bittersweet. Because we were so close, this close to a frickin' scissor kick goal from Gatti, man, okay? We were this close to it. Gatti wins the ball and urges it forward, gets it over to Chico Conceição. We move up forward, and Gatti goes straight to the area. Now, all of a sudden, you got Vlahovic, you've got Gatti there, you got a couple big guys they got to contend with. You see Yildiz kind of floating around back post area. Chico finally finds it back to Savone. I think goes back to Locatelli. Locatelli puts the cross in. We get the scissor kick. Stopped by Ederson. Cleared out. You know Yildiz is getting there. He's got the position. Turns around. This ball is on a platter as Vlahovic is between Barriol, Lewis, and man, just barely a little bit of good fortune, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. You just got to get that thing freaking on target, see what happens. But he was going to fight for that thing. Vlahovic was probably going to kick his hands, right through the stadium just to get that ball over the goal line. It goes in, massive to take the lead at that moment. You felt like it was there even in the first half with our struggles. They looked suspect at the back. Like every time we did go at them, they just looked suspect. This was fantastic, but kind of symbolic. We talked about it in the green room. Like, we've lacked that, and a Juve full of soul and fire in the title. This was how we were described by our coach after the game. This was a play that symbolized something that's been lacking over the games where, I myself and some fans have felt frustrated. Is that fire, that risk, that drive. Gatti showed it on this play. It paid off. It was risky, but you got to risk it sometimes.
Yeah, I think maybe it was either Motta saying it before this game or players realizing it. They took risks. That was a massive risk. Omar brought up, or I think you brought up in the green room. If that ball gets turned over, we're screwed the other way.
Yeah.
With our center back up there. But two things. One, if Gatti hit that side volley, the memes on Twitter would have been off the charts with the steel toes and like the Mason mortar and all that shit. It would have been awesome if he had scored that. But Dusan getting that goal was, I think, great for him, great for the team. And we look so much more dangerous when there's somebody right beside Dusan.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
doesn't matter who it is.
It's got to happen. As far as Dusan, we'll talk about all the players as we get to the Raids, but this was just massive. And when you felt that 1-0, you knew exactly what was going to come. And we got it. it was like you've seen it so much. We've seen it so much, but the team that does that, and I said it at halftime too, like I said, the longer we stick around here, the more we actually become dangerous. And City gets nervous and everything. But the second we get the 1-0, then all of a sudden they ramp up the urgency. They ramp up the tempo. But we still maintained. The back line was solid. It was solid across the board. Right across the board. We'll get to it in the ratings. But 67th minute, this was a big save as they're ramping up, trying to chase. And this was a shot from Gundogan that Di Gregorio dives out and he sends it away. And that gets us even more fired up.
Full stretch. And, big save.
Yeah. Di Gregorio was just on it, pouncing on the little through balls here and there when he was when he needed to, coming out, looking big. It was a great performance from him. 74th minute, the man himself. This starts with Danilo. He read Savinho like a book who had came in at that point of the match. Or was it still... No, it was still Doku. Doku on that side coming at him. And reads him like a book. Challenges immediately. Wins the ball. Moves forward. Plays it into Yildiz. Yildiz buys a little time. Drops it back for Danilo. And then the substitutes. The two Americans that came in. One taken off Chico, Weah came on, and the other taken off Lillian. Oof, I wish we had Lillian in the lineup. Kefren Taram, excuse me. And McKennie reads the space, steps forward. Danilo, easy pass inside. And then McKennie, that's it. He's off to the races. Great through ball over the top for Weah, right in stride. Tries the first cross, very fortunate. It goes right back to him, and then he sees McKennie making his run. And McKennie, Champions League goals with the scissor kicks there. Hey, there you go. This was a beauty, and I just lost my shit, and rightfully so. 2-0, you know they're not getting it. They're not getting it done there. They might find one. You know they're not getting two the way we were playing.
I know the haters don't want to hear it, but Dusan took two defenders with him.
Yeah. Dusan played a good game. Dusan played a solid game. Guys, it ends there. This was massive. And I want to point out something, because this doesn't happen a lot. Del Piero was in the building, and we got a win, a big win.
And Bernadette.
Yeah, that's it. There was a different catalyst there.
Is that the first win we've got while Del Piero's in the stadium?
Could be.
I didn't keep track, but it might be.
It might actually be, but hey.
But it only comes to the
exercise the demons, man. Exercise the demons. So I loved it. Everything about this game. I want to get your overall thoughts on it before we get into player ratings. So Skanga, just give me your thoughts, like full time, 2-0, where you're at.
Okay, so you and I have had some conversations over the past week on where we are at with this team. I've always been on, let's just have more patience. You've been sort of on the fence on how things have been going, and I'll let you, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but for me, I know this team is capable of this. I'm putting a little bit more excuse on the injuries than I think you are. I just think with more consistency with the same players, we're going to show more of this. I'm not surprised by it. I'm happy to see it. I will say we have to be like this more consistently. I think we don't really have any excuses why we can't play like this. So I don't know what the reasons are. Is it Motta? Is it injuries? We can make a lot of excuses, but I think this team, I'm not surprised by it. I don't think anybody should be, because we played like this at the beginning of the year, and it's just how do we do this game in and game out moving forward. So happy about how this game turned out, obviously, but
yeah, I'll speak to my side of it, which kind of, it's not that we necessarily disagree, but it's just like for me, it's just the frustrating part of it is because I know we can do this. Yep. Injuries didn't affect this performance yesterday. It's the same group of guys that started that have been around, minus Cambiaso, who is critical to this Juve. Like, for me, it's that fire that we had. We were switched on, and we were switched on even from the beginning. We lacked some execution in the first half in turning those transitions into good moments, but we were switched on. And the players all said it. That's why I've been frustrated, is because injuries for me don't really play a part in who you have there out on the pitch, putting everything they have into the game and ultimately getting the job done. And when Dusan Vlahovic comes out, Locatelli comes out, our coach comes out, and they all reiterate the same thing after yesterday's game, that we approached games in a bad manner. We needed to be slapped in the face. We don't need to be slapped in the face. That's not an injury thing. That's why I've been frustrated, because in the grand scheme of things, you and I agree we are capable of this on a consistent basis. I need to see that consistency, but this needs to keep up. Like I said at the end of yesterday, show me that fire. Show me that intensity, and I guarantee you'll get through the matches we've been drawing. Just give me that risk. Give me those balls. Give me that intensity. And I bet you we get more points.
It looked like yesterday we actually had a game plan. Other games looks like where's the game plan? So I'll agree with you. I'll side with you on that point, where some games it's like, hey, what's the game plan here? Yesterday, to me, the game plan looked clear. Like everybody, whatever they were trying to achieve, they achieved. Everybody looked like they were on the same page.
And it comes a bit more natural in a game like that, where like Motta said in the press, where you're going to give up the possession. So that game plan comes naturally. Now, we have to all remember, and again, playing into where I'm at, which is one game at a time, show me. For this team to show me. This isn't Motta's true style or philosophy. I love the fact that we can adapt, and he did that. But now it's like, I want to see you take your game plan when you're on the ball that much and these teams park it on you. Now I need to see you come up with that extra mix. And we're going to get to some thoughts I have as to how he can achieve that. But the attitude was the first main thing you've got to be consistent with. That was massive yesterday. Incredible. Omer, your thoughts overall, and taking my thoughts and Skanga's into account.
Yeah, so that's what it basically is. That reminded me of Juve of old. Juve were never the dominant possession attacking kind of team. It's not what got us all the trophies we have. It was this calculated, tactical, mentally, like everything was on point. I enjoyed watching that. That's the type of Juve I'm used to watching. It's not about how many shots you have on target or whatever. I saw every one of the players who came on and started the match give it all that they could. That's what we were wanting from Juve. Like, if I had to give a title to that match, it's absolutely Grinta. Yeah. Grinta all the way from Di Gregorio to Savona to whoever who played. And that was just joyful to watch. Juve came super prepared to that match. They knew exactly what they were going to face. And yes, they are in a bad stretch and whatever. So what? So are we. But we managed to win. So I really enjoyed it. I think everyone deserves credit, even the guys who it didn't work out for them. Attacking wise, because it's not only Koopmeiners. I thought Chico wasn't as good as he usually is, but he still gave his heart out for the team. The stadium was electric. I mean, that's everything we like about Juve crammed into one match. That was just joy to watch, a joy to win. I enjoyed the interviews afterwards, all the locker room, Cambiasso there dancing.
The stadium before with the Italian colors and then just the black and white stripes around it with the Champions League anthem going, like, that's just a sight to behold. Beautiful stuff. You have Lorente and Marchisio singing Storia di un grande amore. You've got Del Piero there. You got Lord Berna. I don't know what else you need. And you got a 2-0 victory for City.
Yeah.
This was
the stage was
this
set.
One for the books.
The stage was set for a big Juve win. All that was left is for the players to actually execute it, and they did with flying colors, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, with all this, we'll elaborate a little more, I'm sure, as we talk about player performances. Now we'll get into player ratings. We're not gonna waste a lot of time on player ratings. We're just gonna fire through here. Di Gregorio, I'll give you the official, was 7.6. I was thinking 7.5 for sure, in that range. All players start at 6. 7.5 for me in the talk for man of the match. Actually got it from some of the media outlets in Italy. He actually was rewarded it. I'm giving him a 7.5. He was massive. Skanga, your rating for Di Gregorio?
As high as you can go. I'll get to that.
10. As high as you can go. Omer, your rating for Di Gregorio?
Yeah, I think 7.5 is decent.
Yeah. Now, Savona finishes with a 6.9 here on this site, and I think he's got to be a 7. He continues to quietly go about his business. And he keeps taking name after name after name after name and just putting them right here in the pocket.
Doku had to move away.
Yeah.
He had to be shifted to the right side because he just couldn't get past Savona.
It was, I don't know, man. Kvaratskhelia, like the list goes on and he just keeps going about it. Savona's doing fantastic. I think, 6.9, yeah, around that 7 mark. I'm cool with it. Do you guys go higher than a 7?
Yes, but I get why they gave him that rating, because he's so quietly consistent. He's not flashy, even though he has 2 goals, which I don't know. DeCilio has 2 goals his entire career. The guy has 2 in his first season.
Why do you always gotta dump on DeCilio? You always have to dump on the guy. Like, he's not.
We'll always dump on DeCilio. Sorry, that's
old habits die hard, buddy.
Yeah, I would go with like let's say 7.2, 7.3.
Okay.
Just defensively solid, and that's what we want from the kid.
Yeah.
Improvements will come later, but first of all, you're a defender. If you defend well, you have a place in Juve's lineup.
All right. Skanga, any higher than even that? No, you're good. Gatti got a 7.3. Gatti's pushing for man of the match too. If I'm going Di Gregorio at 7.5, I got Gatti right there. Guys agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Kalulu, he was a bit down, 6.8, and I actually think, like I said, I think all the guys across the back were good, but I think I'd probably put him a little bit below Danilo and Gatti. So I'm okay with a 6.8 in that range. Danilo, he's pushing an 8 for me in this game. Like, I got him around 8. If I got, like, what
was the official rating there?
7.3. Yeah. So just slightly below Di Gregorio, who was 7.6.
I would actually give him more.
Higher than 8. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 point something. Just because I'll add to that he was the captain, and his move basically buried the match and guaranteed us the win.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, credit where it's due. Yeah, I think he was better in the past few games, but that was a whole other level of better.
Oh yeah, and Danilo easily best match probably with Juve. I'd go as far to say. I don't know if he's played a better game than that one, to be honest.
Can't remember, but
I think he was monstrous against Napoli last season. He had some good showings last season. When the chips were down, he stepped it up.
Locatelli, this is another guy I think is in the mix for man of the match. He officially 7.5.1 off of Di Gregorio. I've got him at probably between 7.5 to 8, probably like 7.7, 7.8 in that range. Skanga, you agree?
I agree with that.
Yeah. You have him higher, Omer?
Oh, a lot higher. He's the man of the match for me. The guy was unplayable yesterday. I think he deserved like an 8.7, and that's man of the match for me.
So I was running the main yesterday, and people were just dumping on Coop yesterday.
Yeah.
But all the Locatelli hate has seemed to just kind of, floated down the river. It was...
maybe not being called to the Euros was probably the best thing that happened to him going into this season.
We're going to get to an interesting little discussion about Locatelli, about Thuram, about Koolmeijers, the midfield in general, as we talked about like this game plan being different than what Motta's traditional style is supposed to be, right? But yeah, Locatelli's your man of the match. Danilo was my man of the match. Have we hit your man of the match yet, Skangan, the ratings?
I'll wait till we get all the ratings done, then I'll give you mine.
Thuram, 6.7. To be honest, I'm fine with him being around 6.5 to 6.7. Like, he wasn't bad. He didn't get to really showcase himself in this game, but he did the job that was required. That's why I'm like 6.5, 6.7. I actually think is fair for Thuram.
6.5. 6.5.
Yeah, you're 6.5. Omer, anything different there?
Yeah, somewhere between 6.5 and 6.7. I think is decent.
Conceição at a 6.5 officially. We talked about, you guys already mentioned, not really his best showing, whatever, but he did what he had to when he had to. I'm fine with a 6.5.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think you think it should be even 6, like just right where he started from. No better, no worse. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'd give him the 6.5 because of his defensive work. Yeah. He still worked really hard to help the team.
Okay.
Yeah, and they got a couple 6s out there, same as Tony there, just 6s. Colt Miners. So officially 6.9. I've got him about 6.5 in that range. Defensively, solid. Very in both halves. In the first half, a lot fumbled at his feet in transition in key moments, and his vision was a bit off as he was not finding certain progressions. I've got him there. I don't think he needs to get lambasted by any means. I think there was a question, though, like I said, about maybe making some type of change. I don't think Motta's ever going to change him or substitute him unless this guy's physically has issues. Right. He loves the guy. He keeps talking about him. We know what he could bring. We know he's smart. He's got a lot to bring, but there was a lot lacking in that first half there. 6.5, I'm probably cool with on Colt Miners. Your guys' thoughts on him?
I still think he's the smartest player on the field.
He's very smart. Very, very smart. That's why it's frustrating when shit breaks down at his feet because you know what he can do.
It's in there.
Frustrating. Kenan Yildiz, a 7.4 officially. I don't solid game from Yildiz, very solid game. Got the assist on Vlahovic's goal, of course. Yeah, I've got him at a 7 at least. I don't know if I go as high as some of those other guys that are pushing the 7.5s for me.
The guys in that 7.5 range are man of the match contenders. Yeah. Yildiz was very good. 7?
Yeah, I'm around 7.
He did get a shout out from Paul Scholes, and I would give him a 7, but because of the assist, I'll add 7.2.
I will add. I just grinds my gears, okay? But when I say these prem heads and all these guys, talk about living under a fucking rock. Like that is just the epitome with Scholes. Who the fuck is Yildiz? And it's just like that.
That was a joke, wasn't it?
Holy shit! Yeah. No,
I think they all got a lesson this season in respecting other clubs, because some of those clubs
they learned a little bit something about a certain bricklayer at the back there, because he put up a fucking wall on old Erling Haaland there.
You give them way too much credit. They haven't learned anything.
Vlahovic officially on this one 7.6. Even with Di Gregorio, he got the official man of the match, the Champions League trophy there for man of the match yesterday's game. I thought he and like I said, this is what I need from him. That strength, that fight, that tenacity. I just need that. I need that. I need you to make those runs that you were making, those smart runs, be engaged and switched on the entire time. And like a fucking robot or a machine where nothing affects your emotions. I need that all the time. I was pumped with his performance. I thought
there was one play. There was one play where he lost the battle with the defender. He went down. He didn't smack the grass. He didn't wait there, try and get a call. He was up and back, chasing, backtracking to help defensively.
Yeah,
I can't see how people haven't seen how he mentally has completely shifted this season.
I have him still not as high as my man of the match, which was Danilo, but I definitely have him at a 7.3. He's up there. If I got Danilo at a 7.5 to 8, pushing in that range, I've got Vlahovic around 7.3. So, but a great performance from him. Your guys' ratings on Vlahovic?
I think 7.6 is decent. I saw a guy who was working for the team. I saw a guy that understood where he needs to be. And it's not even in this game because, I mean, a lot of the movements he makes because he's the top guy, they don't get rewarded because other players don't occupy the space left by him. But even against Bologna, that Koopmeiner's goal came because Dusan pulled everyone to his back and Koopmeister was just left in the area. And now it happened twice. Gatti got that shot because everyone was focused on Dusan, and McKennie was all alone in the area. So, yeah, we need guys to use the space, and he had a great performance against not some minnows. I mean, that's Portugal's best defender, that's Croatia's best defender, and maybe not anymore, but still one of the top defenders for England. So he had his hands full, but he delivered, and I'm happy he delivered.
Skanga, your rating on him, and was he your man of the match? We still haven't got your man of the match.
I would put Dusan closer to 8. I thought he was fantastic yesterday. Getting the scoring going. Now, this may come as a surprise. He is not my man of the match. He's close. He is right there. But Di Gregorio yesterday, so I can't get it out. Need my coffee. Those two stops, that game is completely different if he doesn't keep those two balls out of the back of the net. Completely different. So I'm going with our keeper.
There you go. Di Gregorio, man of the match for Scan. Great show, because that first one's huge. You go down 1-0, changes everything. Everything. So massive and a good shout. I'm going to be quite honest. You could pick quite a few guys. It's safe to say you can give it to the team. You could even give it to Motta, because one of the things been talking about is, and you even touched on it, the game plan. This one I think comes a bit more naturally with this type of game, this type of opponent. But now it's time to build off that. None of this matters. We've had moments that you can build off. You had Leipzig, you had the Inter coming back 2 goals down at the San Siro. It's all about the follow-up. They're all saying the right thing. I loved everything I heard in all the post-match discussions. Locatelli, Vlahovic said, hey, yeah, we're young. We might lack some experience, but you know what? He said, you don't have time at Juve. And that's the way it is. And he called it the way it is. And it's the same thing I've been saying. It's like, you don't have time. We don't have time to sit around and just wait. There's going to be a guy that's actually probably falling in line with that. That's Fagioli that we have news on. He's part of the non-Molo drop. Vlahovic, a big statement made by non-Molo in terms of Vlahovic. So we're going to get to all of that, whatnot. But the follow-up is going to be massive. You have to string wins together off of this. Now, I think there's certain elements out of this game that helped us. Playing in this manner, if you're going to play the low back line, that actually helps Danilo a lot. Because if you're playing a high line, even if he's on the outside, it's a bit more challenging for him. If you're playing lower line like we did yesterday, very low line, that caters to him and makes it an easier game for him, makes him more capable. So, like I said, this wasn't Motta's main philosophy or style of game. He has to find a way to put it together with the pieces he has, and his game planning has to really be up to par in all the matches that we see. And for Danilo, incredible match. We needed that. Cambiasso, everybody's still training individually, separate from the group, but is expected to be available this weekend in a couple days. So for Venezia, it's all about the follow-up, boys. It's all about the follow-up. But show me that attitude, and I swear to God, you'll get by more often than not, and find those ways to win. Those, like I said, just the drive and determination. Now, we will get to something we talked about in the game that came up. The midfield. So, Yildiz centrally and as a 10. There were shouts yesterday. Oh, yes, and because, thank you for the reminder, we do have a kick giveaway today on this live. Because FC25, The simulation nailed the score. And I said, if it got it right, not only did I say I'd give my left nut for it, I said, we'll give a kit away today if it actually happens. Because that's better than giving away my left nut. So let's go with that. Now, the midfield. The midfield. Yildiz. There's going to be, so everybody said, because I said the discussion was, it becomes very difficult to determine who you want to remove out of the midfield if you want to do that. Because Colt Miners still brings a ton. Even if we're talking about a little bit of struggles here and there, he still brings a lot. Locatelli, he's playing like a true leader. Steady.
He's got to be on the field.
Thuram's got a lot to offer. Getting us out of trouble with his legs, physical. It's tough, but you know what? I don't think it's clear cut that he's got to be set on these three mids all the time. This is going to play into the game planning. And we talked about this, and this is one of my kind of frustrations that I've had with Motta. I can sympathize with three mids in a game where you're giving up 67% possession to City. If you're 64% on the ball against Parma, I think you could probably sacrifice one of the mids to get Yildiz in central and put on another winger and push for goals.
Figure it out.
Exactly.
Figure it out. He's got to figure it out.
He's got to figure it out. So for me, that's all I'm going to say is this is great. It's fantastic. I'm one game at a time. Venezia has to be a win. They're cellar dwellers.
What are we even talking about?
Has to be a win.
Yeah, not even
my positivity only runs so far, right? And I've been you guys know I've been trying to stay positive, but we got Venezia, I think Cagliari and Coppa Italia, and then Monza and Fiorentina. That's got to be 12 points in those 4 games. I know one's a Coppa Italia, but
you've got to string this together, or this one doesn't mean anything. Now, in terms of Champions League, this is massive. Practically, it guarantees pretty much you're in the playoffs. Okay?
Yes.
But now top 8. Top 8 is back in the discussion based on other results and where we find ourselves. Hey, you've got Club Brugge. You've got Benfica. Hey, you've got a shot at it. You've got a shot at it.
Got to be 2 wins to even really be considered in the top 8. You can't worry about what other teams are doing.
Yeah, you can't worry about that. You got to take care of business.
Is Benfica away?
It's back in play. It's back in play. But I stand firm. Domestic is still your priority, because qualification is the key. We've now taken 63.7 million euros out of Champions League so far. 2 more games. That gives you the opportunity for about close to another 5 million in winnings. If you win both those matches, could take us close to 70 mil. Then you get into playoffs, etc., knockouts. So, yeah, top 8 would guarantee you round of 16, which is what they were banking on financially. I said risky business, banking on certain results to get you to a certain place. But nonetheless, hey, I like playing with a little fire. We know he likes playing with fire when it comes to depth on the roster. So, hey, Giuntoli, a little bit of a gambling man, which is surprising. He wants to get rid of Fagioli. But this is what we're hearing, okay? So,
well, settle down.
I know, I'm tying it all. I'm having a little bit of fun here, okay? So, guys, reminder, get the likes up. And yes, we do have a kit giveaway today. Now, Non Molo drops this. Now, when it comes to, and we got to talk about this in terms of the game yesterday and keeping with this midfield. Fagioli, you got 2 guys that come back fresh out of injury. McKennie and Luis, they both hit the pitch in this game. It could be a sign that he is on the outs. It could be absolutely nothing. You don't know. But I'm just going to say this. Non Molo's been pretty damn accurate for quite some time. This is just, like, he's not a journalist. This is just a personality. This is a Juventino that has sources, that shares the information he's given. And he does it under this alias of Paolo Nomolo. He says, he was pretty harsh on Fagioli. He said he is talented, but he's got no balls, no guts. And Giuntoli is seriously considering moving him. It's up to him to prove he's a Juve player. There's not a lot of time left until the January window.
4 games.
Do you think that was maybe a little bit of a sign of where he stands on the pecking order for Motta, or it was just nothing at all?
Unfortunately, it looks like he's on his way out. And let's leave Douglas Luiz aside because there's a factor of money and shit involved. But yeah, he's the one that seems so far to not be up to the level of the other midfielders. Unfortunately, again, I really want him to succeed, but you also need money and you need someone with value, and he still has value in the market. I don't know if he has enough time to prove himself up until January. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to get much of playing time anyway, now that everyone is sort of healthy. Yeah, so it's an inevitable outcome as far as I see it now.
That's a good point from Luca, right? That was his window. He had Luis
while those guys were out. That is a good point. Shocking.
And I told you on the prediction show, I told you one of Locatelli and Fagioli, one of them is going to succeed, and for that reason, the other one is going to fail. Just didn't know who it was going to be.
It's nice of Luca to take the thumb out of his mouth for a second to type in some quality.
So just play us a tune there, Luca. Get that piano going. Anywho, good for piano man. And so I don't see what value. I think he'd be more valuable in the summer. So I guess the question is, do we sacrifice a little bit of value in January to bring in reinforcements?
So this is what it's going to come down to. If you have a place to make that, because I hate taking away from the team in order to add, especially if we're talking about questionable ads in January. I do find Antonio Silva intriguing, but if you've got a place to spare it, it's the midfield.
Yes, agreed.
If these guys stay healthy, obviously you got McKennie, you got Luiz, you got Cope Miners, you got Locatelli, you got Thuram, you got 3. Well, you can consider McKennie in the mix. They're balling out. Like it's gonna get crowded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Arthur is gonna be one that's that we're gonna say goodbye to. We better. He's got like 7 teams interested. If you can't move him now, you're gonna go into the doghouse, Juntali, okay? But Arthur's gonna go. There's not gonna be a ton of money in there. With Fagioli, even from his perspective, and this is where it's kind of fallen to the wayside, he needs minutes.
He does, but he had minutes in those last 3 games where he had minutes. It's like it was not good. And please don't ever bring up Miretti again. He's not coming back.
He's got to just he had his moment. He had the chance, I think, to get that breakthrough, but that's just it up until now. Everybody, we're waiting for that breakthrough. Mm-hmm. I think that is the biggest detriment out of what happened last season. Is that would have been the season that gave him the best shot at consistent moments, minutes, etc. with the team to actually know 100%, not 100%, but we'd probably feel like 90% confident in what exactly you have there. Right now, it's a bunch of talent that is flashes here and there on the pitch. And that's the bottom line. I personally still say I'd like to wait until season's end, but all signs are pointing that, he could be. We could be saying goodbye in January. One of these other guys we got to talk about, McKennie. Mm-hmm. Got to talk about McKennie. Omer?
Yeah. So just Fagioli, either if you find him a new spot or you just don't have any room for him. Considering his abilities, I don't know where else he could play. But that's the only way I see him staying. He's moving out of the midfield. McKennie, I mean, okay, personally, I really like the guy. As a person, I think he brings a lot of enthusiasm. I think he's a very hard worker. Yeah, he's lacking in some areas at times, but he's a good player to have because of his versatility, because of the energy he
What I
brings.
was going to say is I'm not talking about McKennie on the move or selling. My point about
No,
McKennie was going to be like, it's time to probably start taking it a bit more serious than I think maybe even the
that's
club has.
that's where I'm getting at. I mean, it's now the third coach who just couldn't let him go because McKennie himself proved that he's a hard worker, and coaches like those type of players, especially if they're versatile. I mean, we gotta make a choice. I think the correct choice is to extend him and keep him in the roster. He's not. It doesn't seem like he's expecting to be a starter every match, and he's just happy with the roles he's given. And I get why managers like it.
And that's why, for anyone that's trying to point back to what happened in the summer and say, like, that's why they're wrong. They treated him like crap, like you're trying to push him out. He doesn't want. I still think it was right, and I'll tell you why. It's because of the money that was rumored that he wanted. I'm sorry, but he's still a very strong rotational piece, but he's a rotational piece in the midfield. People talk about him starting, whatever. He could start. He could absolutely start in this midfield, but I'm not so confident in giving him the money that was rumored. And that's why if they're looking to sell and you've got a deal on the table, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, I've always been a firm believer everything happens for a reason. We settled on a deal that's way better financially for us. He stays. He's proving that he could be an asset. It's all good. Don't dwell on the events of the past and everything, but I think now you got to kind of start taking him way more serious for those of you that haven't. And sometimes I've been guilty of it, and I will say it. But he just keeps stepping up, and he keeps offering a bunch. I know that there's a lot of issues with that people have with consistency from him, etc. He moves around a lot. Like, he gets moved around a lot. And we talked about game plan from Motta. Another one of my things is, like, lock these guys in on their roles. Like, Colt Miners hasn't even played as a real 10. And everybody's like, oh, he can't play 10. What is? I'm like, he isn't. He's playing as a Metsala, but he's moving everywhere. He's covering so much ground. I go, there's no distinct focus with him. And listen to his interview 2 games ago. He's like, after Bologna, he goes, well, I got to get up. I got to help Vlahovic. I got to be closer to him. He's like, but I got to go back. I got to help the D. I got to get out to the flank. Like, the guy is scattered right now. So McKennie, he's been used advanced. He's been used as a base, as a pivot with the other guys. Like, lock these guys in, and I think it'll go a longer way. That's just me.
He's
And that's
also
still on Motta.
he's also like coming big in big matches. He has a goal against Paris Saint-Germain. He was responsible for the tackle against Leipzig this season.
Yeah,
He
that
was
was
the one
huge.
he was the one who assisted Vlahovic for the first goal against Inter. I
Yeah.
mean, he was our top assister last season.
How do you remember all this?
I don't know.
It's amazing.
My mom says I'm special. And
Thank God you remember
like
it.
he comes big. He scored against Barca. Now he scored against City. He does have value more in big games than the smaller teams, and I think it's important. Yeah, I like the guy. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a bit
You don't have
biased.
to be sorry for liking him. It's all good. We're just saying, like, it's probably time to give him his props. Like,
Lock
legit.
him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Lock
time
him
to
up.
give him his props. Now, we said we got more from Non Molo. In terms of talking about just Motta in general, it's kind of like a mix. It's so funny because I feel like the stars are always going to be slightly misaligned between Skanga and myself when it comes to Motta because full trust from everyone there, Nomolo says. Absolute full trust in everyone around Juve. But he says mistakes have to be learned from and have to be corrected. Juve is a big burden to bear. So it's kind of like the same friggin' thing. It's like ultimately for me, it's just like I'm not throwing my trust around. Like just like I'm gonna say, okay, I trust you for 3 years on. I'm not like that. I'm like, let's assess at the end. Right now, game to game, I think he could do some things better. But one thing I'll give him, the team's got character that shows up pretty much all the time. We just need that grinta, that fight, that spirit all the time. I think we'll be okay. But there are signs of what we can reach, and we all know it's there. Just find it way more consistent. And the amount of points that we've dropped in draws is crazy. Like, you have enough on the pitch there. Should is a word we've been throwing around forever. Should be enough to get the job done. Should be enough to get the job done. Should be enough. And then, you know, when you wait this long for a victory show, yeah, my patience starts to run thin. So ultimately, we can see the good that can come out of this with Motta.
We're going to get there.
Vlahovic. Inevitable that Juve will sell him in June regardless of this season. Wow. So, how do you guys feel about that, first of all? It's crazy to think that a season can't have an impact on what happens with a player. Like, if this guy goes off, finishes solid numbers, like his performances match what he showed yesterday consistently throughout, like, it's crazy to think that that's it. And you now know. Nonmolo does preface this by saying Vlahovic has, like, no desire to change his contract structure.
That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem because of the way that Giuntoli's working all these new contracts coming in and being more financially responsible.
Yeah.
Should be noted that Vlahovic has the most goals of any Serie A player in this calendar year. He's leading the way.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, he doesn't score. He has the most goals of any player in 2024. So does he have to pick up a little bit more to validate his salary? Yes, I agree with that. But he is our only striker. I think he's gonna have a big price tag if we do sell him. I'm just worried about who we bringing in. People are gonna be like, oh, there's lots of options. Is there? Is Jonathan David for sure?
There are
If
options.
not him, there's not much else out there. So careful.
There are options. They're not cheap.
So Vlahovic is the Serie A player who has scored the most goals in all competitions since the start of 2024, with 22 goals for him on the calendar year. It's crazy to me, but the finances are kind of running things until we get it where it is, and that's just it could be a sad reality if he figures it out and gets, like, it solid. Like, I still say, and I said this when he went out with that injury, I said, I don't expect this drastic change that everybody thought was going to come when he's out of the lineup. I don't see it. I still think there are shortcomings, again, that have led to my frustrations overall with this team. There's shortcomings in our game in getting the most out of him as well. You saw that stat line was, Jesus, it scared the hell out of me. No passes between Chico to Vlahovic, Yildiz to Vlahovic, Fagioli to Vlahovic. Like, Perin hit him 5 times more than anybody on the team. It's like, you've got to do more no matter who the striker is. And if somebody else comes in, you still have to do more than what we're doing now for that position, for that player, especially if you're going to play one guy leading the line. And especially if you're going to be half-ass committed with a 10 that is a part-time 10. Not even playing like a true 10 close to your striker. So
if we get into the final 6, if we finish top 8 in Champions League, Juventus, I think, is a interesting landing spot. I think it will open the eyes again to players around Europe. Maybe Juventus is a landing spot again. If we sell Vlahovic, I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. I do agree the salary has to come down, but you're going to have to fork out $60 million to get another striker. Yeah. Don't be thinking you're going to go out there and find one for, a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and some coleslaw. You're going to be paying a lot of money to find one.
What a deal that would be. Jeez. Now, it's like I said, I said it after Fede. I think we're heading down this road. Nomolo has been crazy accurate. We'll see what happens. In other news, Parisi. Some will remember him as a target, as a link a while ago. Apparently has crept up in the news again as being a potential option for Juventus. However, this last little stretch for Parisi obviously wasn't the greatest and whatnot, but the rumors indicate that I'm just trying to find it here, that we've got strong links with his I believe his entourage. It says, has ended up on the radar of Giuntoli once again. The Italian looks ready to leave Fiorentina, which it hasn't gone good for him. And the Juve manager is looking for a deputy for Cambiaso. Excellent relations between clubs and entourage. A deal could be made there. I'm definitely not against it, because at this point, going back to your comment a while ago, Tony, a sack of water, for God's sakes.
That can breathe. No more players from Fiorentina. I think we should look elsewhere for a little while. We've given them enough money.
Yeah. No, and you know what? You're right. And no Fiorentina or Atalanta player, please. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. But at this point, if it's Parisi or nobody, I mean, let's take a look. Or maybe they just pass it on to us for how long we've lost Nico Gonzalez, like, fuck's sake, you guys. Bitches. All right.
Are we talking about January? Parisi for January or June?
It doesn't state the time frame. It doesn't actually state if they're looking. It just says has ended up on the radar of Giuntoli once again, and it doesn't state. That's from Nico Schira too. So
no one's doing us any favors. Who's around us in the city?
I don't mind him. I don't mind going for Parisi, mainly because of the Cabal injury. If we're talking about January, but I mean, after Danilo's performance yesterday, if he can pull that off when needed, when Cambiaso is unavailable or needs a rest, then I don't need Parisi.
I'm still like, show me, and with Danilo, that's out of friggin' nowhere. And like I said, low line helps him. Let's take it easy, but he's not going anywhere. And I actually do respect him for the words he came out immediately. He goes, "I've read it all in the media. I've never seen a captain leave halfway, and I definitely don't intend to." So the rumors for Danilo can pretty much be put to rest right there. Now, get to some Storm the Barn. Let's try and machine gun some of these and then get to the giveaway, everybody, on this wicked victory show. Love it. Adam, maybe our mindset should be that we are always facing a team of the caliber of City. Feels like we wanted to win yesterday, more so because we faced a team like City. That comes down to attitude. And like what we were talking about, the fire of the drive. Like, I agree. So do we have a problem playing down to teams?
Yes. We play down to shitty teams.
You would have to say that. Mm-hmm. You should not, at home, need to be slapped in the face to the tune of 2-0 against Bologna.
Hang on. Some of those draws against the lower level teams, we haven't played bad. It's just we haven't been able to unlock the defense. Like, we haven't played poorly. It's just like, go get the win. Like from center to our keeper has been fine. It's just, how do you unlock the other end? So to say we played poorly is in some of those matches, but it's just like you always say, got to figure it out.
You got to get the job done. I mean,
got to get the job done. So we're not really playing.
You're
down.
muted, Omer.
Can you put the question again on the screen?
Maybe our mindset should be that we always face City.
Yeah.
So it feels like we wanted to win yesterday.
It's hard to do that.
So I'll tell you, like, I ask it differently. Mentally or tactically?
For me, both.
More so mentally.
Or both.
For me, it's both.
Yeah, so tactically, I can easily see it happen. It's just playing in a different way, and it's instructions to players. Mentally, I don't know if you can consider yourself like not as good as, let's say, Bologna, for example, to get in that state of mind. I don't think it's that easy, because you're playing at Juve. You get it pumped into your head every day that it's Juve and you won't be worse than anyone. I don't know if it can happen like that mentally.
It's
tactically easier.
For me, it's both. you can see the numbers back it, and we could see it with our own eyes. There's not, in the games where we have to build up, where we're the ones possessing the ball, trying to do what City had to do yesterday, there's a lot less connection that we have that City's got. Like in terms of the players, the movement, and what they're trying to do to open up spaces, these little tiki-taka and then through balls. No, like it's very one-dimensional from us. It's get it to a winger. The winger tries to beat somebody, and then he either shoots or he throws a ball in, and we only got 2 bodies in the area. It like tactically, in those games, we struggle. And that's kind of on Motta. And again, I don't see the need to be so robust in the midfield when that happens. Get Yildiz central. Give him freedom to just
go find
the pockets,
options.
make something happen. But mentally, you don't need to get slapped. You had a week between Lecce and Bologna, and you came out flat for the whole first half. So it's both for me. It's both that we need to put it all together. It's not just the players. It's not just Motta. They just need to put it together. But when it's together, we see what can happen.
Looks great.
That's what drives me fucking crazy, is we're this close to being an absolute unit. But you gotta find that all the time for me. We're so close. We're so close. That's what drives me crazy. You can see it.
But you actually played against City, not imagining you're playing a bigger team. Even when I play FIFA, like my attitude is completely different if I play against big teams or smaller teams, like mentally. So I can't imagine what it is to tell yourself you're worse than Venezia.
Oh my God, I know, but that's the part of going next level.
Tactically, I agree.
That's the part of going next level. Is you look at everybody the same. You need to get trained to like be one speed. It's full go or nothing. Like you have to get to that point. You have to be able to hit those gears.
You need to make them play the match like you want them to play it. If you want to draw him in and get him closer to your area, then do that. Draw back, adjust the movements of the players, adjust the way you come out of a press.
Yeah.
And then you can do it. But that way you are in control of the game, even though you're not in control of the ball.
Forza Juve, can we take a minute and talk about how much of a steal Digre actually was? In today's game, a good ball-playing keeper that is also a world-class shot stopper is worth around 40 to 50 million euros. Absolute steal. Thuram was a steal, too, at 20 mil. Like, everybody's focusing on, Luiz and Nico, which I think is rough because they just haven't been fit. But you've got great moves all over the place. Chico Conceição is going to be ours at 30 million after the loan and whatnot. That could be a steal even at that price tag, even if you factor in the loan for what he's going to be capable of. And he's 21 years old. Di Gregorio was a fantastic deal. Fantastic deal.
How much was it? Anybody remember? For Di Gregorio? Well, how much?
I think it's 20 total after loan. It's like 4.5 loan and then 16 to purchase. So it's like... Cabal even was a steal. The injury sucks for him, whatnot, but that was a good deal too. And you know what's solid is finding a kid like Savona.
Yep, I was just gonna say that.
And Kalulu was a great deal. That's proven to be a steal.
What's that loan again? Do we have option on that?
Yeah, it's our option at 14 million or 17 million to purchase, and the loan was about 4, somewhere around there.
Does Junce pull a trigger on that? I bet you Kalulu would want to stay.
I think it's 17, 18 total for Kalulu. I think it's right here from George. 3 loan plus 14. So it's like, what are we talking about? 17 million? You are looking at a sack of water. So Kalulu's been huge too. We've got steals all over the place if we want to really break it down. Cugino Eddie, what is the percentage of the number of goals we scored so far on counterattacks, not counting PKs? Seems overwhelming majority of them have been. Well, like we said, this is the breakthrough for us. We know we can play in those games. When there's space and it's open and you can run at defenses, like we're not worried about that. The next part of the battle is doing it in the build-up on your own accord. That's the toughest part because that's where chemistry has to come into account. And we just haven't found that yet. So we do have to be patient for the chemistry. Chemistry doesn't have a set time.
But I will give you some of the stats. Out of 24 goals we scored, 18 came from open play, 1 from set piece, 3 penalties, and 2 own goals.
Look at the own goals up there with 2. Nice.
You go own goals. Set piece. I don't remember that one. Corner kick?
Must have been the follow-up on the set piece. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. But, okay.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
According to Football Meat Stat, if we go 2-2, we are 96% in top 8. Will we get it? I think we'll get... I'd probably be safe to say we've got 4 points more coming after this victory against City. And I think that's going to be enough to get you through. I wouldn't be surprised if another 3 points might squeak you, but no, 4 points. 4 points will be tight. I still think we might be playoffs, but we'll be high-seeded, which would even be better than
the table is mad right now.
It's crazy.
Yes.
It's insane. Like, we're Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain are out of the qualification period.
So Juve's at, 11 points. Right now you've got Dortmund, Bayern, Atletico, and Milan all at 12. And they're all sitting just outside 8 spot, which is held down by 13 points. That has 6 clubs on 13 points, okay? Leverkusen, Arsenal, Villa, Inter, Brest, and Lille. So
when you
they're
say
all on 13.
4 points will get us in, that puts us at 15. One of those teams wins, gets them at 16 points, right? So I think you need 6. You want to be in the top 8.
Goal differential that's going to fuck us. Yeah, you got to win out to get in there. We've pretty much secured a playoff spot even now. You get one more point, you're pretty much locked. So that's going to be okay. But even getting a higher seed would help us. Because right now, if it was just to end here, our playoff is going to be against Benfica.
That's not good.
Exactly, because that's 14th against 15th, and we got to play them still, so we'll see how it goes. But if you finish higher up, even in the seeding, you end up changing your luck and playing a team like PSV, who we already did, or Dinamo Zagreb. But even Man City sitting at 22nd, so imagine hitting higher up in the things and then dropping in City. City could figure it out at any point, but they are on a little bit of a spiral. You got to win out. You got to win out. Let's see what happens. One game at a time, everybody. Can Locatelli succeed without Thuram too? Yeah, absolutely.
He started the season without Thuram, and Thuram took a while to get into the lineup, and he was still consistent and good from the get-go. I don't think he had maybe he had one, a bad performance this season.
Yeah,
he did.
Maybe against Stuttgart, but that was collective. Everybody
was shit against Stuttgart.
Yeah.
Talk about not starting on time. Thought they were still in the locker room there for 60 minutes. Was that the best performance of the season for Juve?
No. Leipzig was up there.
But Leipzig was the things happened during the match that made it special and made Juve come out of their shell and try something different because of Bremer's injury and Nico's injury 10 minutes in, then a penalty. I mean, everything, and a red card. That was more of a character showing than let's say a good performance. But that was calculated. That was tactically, mentally, how the team arrived at the game. That was better for me.
Fair.
In terms of the game itself, Leipzig was a better game, a better watch, definitely.
I'd have to say yesterday was probably the best performance just because it was a team. It was a team performance total all around, and the actual attitude was there, and everything was on point right across the board. When you can have 5 guys in man of the match discussion, it's pretty much going to be up there. It's got to be up there for one of your top performances of the season. So far right now for me, it is. I think Leipzig was just incredible for completely different reasons, but the situations, the circumstances,
I told you early in the green room that I've missed 30 minutes of the match yesterday, the first 30 minutes, and I didn't miss anything. If I didn't watch the first 30 minutes of the Leipzig game, I would have missed everything.
I'm just checking my notes really quick. I'm seeing we were pretty good on the PSV game, the Inter game 4-4, right? Can't forget about that one.
That was a game with no defenses on
It
either
just
side.
left a lot, to be desired there in that game. But yeah, the comeback was huge, but it was like a, whew. Yeah.
I'm sure we can go through this later on, but yeah, fair enough. It was up there, sure.
Do you think the sale of one of our stars, Bremer, Yildiz, Cambiaso, excluding Dusan, is required to continue building the squad in order for us to return to prior dominance? So do we foresee having to move one of those guys?
Those two aren't getting sold.
Nope. I don't think we need it in order to improve. No, we don't need it. We can get good deals, good bargains. There are good players going around the world who are cheap, and you don't have to sell your star players to bring them.
We still have a chunk to cut in. Like the job financially is not done, and this is leading a lot of the fans to believe that I see the comments all the time. This team is only worrying about money. His whole focus is all about money, and it comes around rumors like selling Fagioli, etc. It's like, oh, we don't care about our players, the Italians, like the true Juventini. It's like it's all about money. It kind of is right now, and it has been. So again, I stand firm on like understanding exactly all of Giuntoli's moves going into this like point and how everything was done, how you had a season of no transfers because you needed to do that and you needed to get the young guys in. They kind of killed two birds with one stone. They showcased a bunch of next gen talent. They didn't spend. They only brought in Weah. That was all attributed to Allegri. And you have a group saying, if you did this for Allegri, guess what? We couldn't because that was the circumstances. Take the coach out of the equation. If you had another coach there, it would have been the same thing. That's besides my point. That's besides my point.
When we signed Paredes.
It's besides my point. The finances are the finances. We still have work to do. Selling these guys, it's going to come down to how much you can make on the other guy. Like you still have a little bit of work to do. You can say goodbye to guys. You can clean up your annual costs, but at the end of the day, you still have to find capital. So it really depends how he's going to go about and doing that. So I hate to see any of those guys go. Yeah, sponsor would be great. I'd hate to see any of these guys go. Bremer, Yildiz, Cambiaso, for me, are absolute like pillars. That
zero chance they're leaving.
I say you look probably at all other avenues before any of their names even come into any discussions. That said, if a number's astronomical, that you could potentially get multiple pieces, it's all about the collective. What is better for the right now? Obviously, you're going to say, "Oh man, no chance I'm getting rid of any one of those three." But if all of a sudden 2 or 3 other names came from a massive sale, a massive influx of capital, it could change your mind. That's all I'm going to say is...
Okay, but hang on. We did a lot of purchases in the summer, right?
163 mil. That's what we spent.
Realistically, how many pieces do we need this summer? Fullback, striker.
Right. But you have a few
factors. It all depends on what goes down.
But you have a few factors that weren't there.
Even if you don't find one in January, like I'd be shocked if we don't bring in a striker in January, but we might not. You're going to need that. You're going to need some help at the back for sure.
But we don't have to do as much. I don't think we have to do as much business as we did last summer is my point.
Absolutely.
No.
So like, but saying that we have to start selling guys, it's like...
No, not necessarily. But you kind of, you do have to find capital to chip at that debt still.
But you have a few factors that weren't there last season. First of all, no Champions League. That's a lot of money gone. Now you have Champions League, and you'll get more money the further you go in the tournament. You have the Club World Cup. That's also money coming in. and
A lot
not
less than originally.
Is
a lot
it?
less
Yeah.
than promised. Yeah, and you have like 4 players you still need to sign. You've got tons of players coming back from loans and such. You still have to pay for Conceição, Kalulu. Who else we didn't pay yet?
Nico? Oh no, we bought him.
We bought him.
Cabal?
All I'm saying is there's still work to be done financially,
Yeah.
so you just gotta wait and see. Just gotta wait and see. But whatever is better for the group, you just right now, those guys are pillars. I don't even want to consider thinking about it.
The silver lining of all of Bremer's injury is that he's not getting sold, because he was the one I was mostly afraid. No one buys a player with an ACL injury and pays
Even
like
if, man, there's no
100
silver
per-
lining to that for me. Like, absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
I mean, it's not really a silver lining. I wish he was here, even if we sold him last summer. But we will get.
Like, you're gonna get paid healthy, even if that went down. Like I said, guys move, players move here and go. We don't want to see him go. The guy's a unit, but I don't know. There's no silver lining for me in that dude's ACL.
I don't see a lot of. I don't see a lot of clubs spending. That's the main thing.
I want a machine gun, a few more, and then we've kind of gone out of time. But we're going to machine gun a couple and then get to this giveaway. So what do you think the reason was for Duchan's stare down or face at the end of the game? I didn't even catch it.
No, I
catched it.
Omer.
I've seen it. He gave Fagioli like a stern look immediately as the match ended and they both stepped on the pitch. It was like this weird look, like either Fagioli said something that really irritated him or he farted. That was like the face he gave him. But then he looked at him for like 3 seconds with this weird look and then went on his business.
I didn't even catch it. Didn't even catch it.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Which player realistically would you want as a center back cover for Bremer in January? I'm going to be honest, and I've been saying this forever. You're not going to find like a Bremer level. It's just not going to happen. I think if you have the opportunity, it's going to be whatever's the best financially and whatever's, if you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get a center back that also plays left back, I think that's your ticket. But obviously don't go for broke. If it's 35 million, like the rumor was around Hanko, which now Mirko Di Natale says is not available, then I wouldn't even go to that extent. I haven't liked many of the targets. I'll be quite honest. If you can get Antonio Silva on a loan to begin with some type of option, not obligation, I'd look that route. That's just me. Where are you guys at? Is there somebody in particular for you?
No, I think I don't have anyone particular, and I think Gatti and Kalulu have kind of solidified their spots as the 2 center back, and everyone else will move around them. That's why I don't think we're getting someone to be a starter. We'll get, if we get someone, he's going to be a substitute, and then just the lowest price you can get.
Yeah.
Again, bring back Gonzalez for all I care. That will be the best move in my opinion.
Nobody with Melo in their name should ever come to Juve again.
Never,
all right.
ever again. Lock the doors.
Yeah. So no more Fiorentina, no more Atalanta, and no more Melos. Okay, we're just gonna put that in a little box here and just that's
Fully
it.
agree.
That's what's happening.
You're
Guys, get the likes up. If you want a
customers.
kit giveaway, you better get those likes up. We've had over 100 this whole way steady. Let's get those likes up. Come on. You got to hit at least 80 here if you guys want this kit. One more, last one, okay? Let's get into this. Where is it here? Okay, right here. This will be probably the last one before we give this kit away. If Vlahovic leaves and the 2 options you can get in a perfect world are Lorenzo Luca, Marmoush, Mikotadze, or Jonathan David, or Sesko, who are you picking up?
These guys are
It's
all
not even a question. It's Cesco up here, and then the rest, I don't give a fuck. Marmoush will probably be my second choice, but Cesco is above all of them for me.
Give me, if David's on a free, David and Marmoush. Give me David and Marmoush. I'll take those 2. Baba Ganoush. Give me Baba Ganoush
world.
too.
The Baba Ganoush. He said in a perfect world, so Cesco, but
I do like
money,
Šeško though,
David,
and
probably.
yeah, Šeško's pretty solid too. Like Any of those
If I
three, I'm
had to
happy.
if I had to name the teams that those players played for to save the world from nuclear war, launch the missiles. I have no idea, other
Oh,
than
good
John
to have
Okay.
you
Terry.
back on the podcast.
Okay, everybody. You guys got to hit 80. Come on, like step it up. Let's get those likes up. But we are gonna give a kit away anyways because it's better than my left nut. So here we go. This is how you're gonna win this kit. Okay. Give me
Can
2
Omer and I
seconds
win
here.
it? Because
What?
like do
I
we have a
haven't
It
even
shot?
doesn't work
told.
like that. It
I haven't
doesn't
even
work like
told
that.
them. Like nobody even knows what kit they're winning. That's the funniest part.
Doesn't
By
matter.
the way, I have a Storm the Bomb question for you.
Oh, okay.
What did you make? Maybe you talked about it yesterday and I missed it, but what did you make of the little Bonucci tech thing that's going on right now?
I think
I'm
when you get
Like,
into the
honestly.
big personalities,
where do you stand? Not like what would be your reaction to that situation? Would you side with tech because we know how Bonucci is, or would you side with Bonucci because that's what Juve is?
I kind of feel like when there's somebody who's annoying in the locker room, I would have loved to have put fucking headphones on and just drown them out and go smoke cigarettes in the washroom stall. If I could have done that, I would have done it. So I kind of side with Tech a little bit there.
I don't know. For me, it's like I don't know, man. Like I know you could still self motivate yourself, but like there's a certain team connect that I
Yes.
kind of understand. Bonucci's point. It's like it's pretty disrespectful.
Mhm.
So I kind of get that point too. And like Tech's never been an actual leader. I don't know.
He's just a
I guess-
shot stopper. He's just back there doing
Yeah,
his business, packing butts.
And that's some of the credit I'll give him. Tech never took football too seriously. Like he knew how to enjoy it and not get too serious, which is probably not what most fans want for a player in their team, especially Juve.
Like I said, you
Yeah.
could do whatever the fuck you want. Be respectful about it. Like
Yeah.
that's all. And don't set a
When-
bad tone for like 19-year-olds that come into the team that we spent 90
Exactly.
million on to disrespect club legends and leaders. That's all. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, I
You can go
totally agree
smoke
with
whatever
that.
the fuck you want. Just don't be a dick.
And I know that in Bonucci's head, he's done everything in the name of Juve, like for
Okay,
making
everybody.
Juve better.
It's time. You guys are slacking. 72. Come on. You can get 8 more likes. Come on. All right. Anyways, please compete if this is in your wheelhouse. This is the kit. It's a medium. Fits like a so a little slim fitting because they're authentics, whatever. But it's a medium, and it is this year's 3rd kit. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah.
No one on the back, blank back.
Blank back. Blank back. This is how you're gonna win this. Okay.
How many is that this year? We got to be up. It's got to be double digits so far.
Yeah, we're I think already at 11. So
It pays to watch this show.
I
You're
don't know
welcome,
why the hell
Schmedium.
people wouldn't. It's like it's
Barely,
unbelievable.
I barely have 11 shirts for work.
No,
I have 11 Juve kids.
this is how this is how you're gonna win this kit. I am gonna give you a series of clubs. The series of clubs are the career of a player. You tell me who that player is. Okay? And I will text
Explain again. Sorry.
I will text the team chat right now with who it is.
He's just going to give us the series of clubs, and you got to name the player.
Oh, cool.
Series of clubs through this guy's career. Okay, ready?
Oh, this
Just
will
a
be
disclaimer, I would have known that.
Perugia, Avellino, Casertana, Reggiana, Juventus, Middlesbrough, Marseille, Lazio, Derby County, Dundee, Perugia.
Still
That's
wouldn't
the
know.
series. Oh my God! At the same time.
Wow.
At the same time. Look at
One
everybody.
comes in.
Everybody's in here now. You guys got it. But at the same time, George and Mitch. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, George, you did come out on top, like almost simultaneous, but you did come out on top. I think George has already won a kit this year.
He's already won a kit this year.
Let's do a tiebreaker.
George, are you cool letting Mitch have this one since you guys were like bang on the second?
We'll leave it up to George.
Oh, look at George. Look at George. What a true AJC Army member. I've won before. Give it to Mitch.
Look at Mitch. Give it to George. Couple of beauties.
Congratulations. Congrats, Mitch. And yeah, you guys were all, as soon as we hit the Juve and the follow through, you guys nailed it. Bravo. Mitch, congratulations on the win. Okay, now I do have to let everybody know Canada Post sucks ass and they're still on strike, so just bear with me or whatever. But yeah, I've got kits already. Poor Adam's been waiting so patiently. Tuna steaks. It's coming, brother. It's coming, you guys, okay? They're just across the street from my work, sitting there around a campfire singing songs like they're Lisa Simpson outside the nuclear power plant on strike, for Christ's sake. It's a pain in the ass. But you guys, awesome watch along yesterday. Awesome live show today. Skanga, great to have you back, brother, okay?
Good to be back, buddy.
Omer, always an absolute pleasure. Guys, big win. We play in another couple days. We got Venezia. Time to smack them in the face. Let's go.
I might go to the club for that one.
Nice.
I might head to the Toronto club if they're doing a watch long for that. I think I might head for that one.
They'll be rocking. They're rocking the watch parties every game. They had a nice showing yesterday too, and you'll probably see Trim over there. All right.
Hopefully.
And have some fun. But you guys, savor this moment. Enjoy. Go do some trolling. Whatever. The receipts are out there. We went through it all. Big win for Juve, but again, gotta make it mean something. Next up, Venezia. We'll bring you a preview show, and of course, I'll be rocking the live watch along. Enjoy this victory Thursday. We'll see you leading into the weekend. As always, no matter what, to the Chihuahuas, there. And for us, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.
Sante.